up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's get into this episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 15, episodes 50. I said episodes. Episode 15. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. So the episode opens up, and I apologize in advance if my energy's down. It's been a long week. It has been a long week. But the episode officially opens and we see Sonia, Deuce, Ross at the OBGYN, and we find out that Sonia's doctor is Dr. Jackie, paging Dr. Jackie, Dr. Simone, Dr. Heavenly. I cannot wait till Married to Medicine comes back. If y'all don't know, if you watch my Married to Medicine reviews, I love Married to Medicine. Married to Medicine is one of my favorite reality shows that comes on Bravo, and in my list of my favorite reality shows. It's just something about Married to Medicine that I just enjoy it. I just enjoy it. But I'm not happy that Phaedra's on there. And that's the thing. I'm really indifferent towards Phaedra outside of like reality shows. Like when people post pictures of her, I don't really have like a reaction. I just, be like, okay. And keep it pushing with all them blonde, them like 613 blonde wigs. But her being on Married to Medicine, I was not happy when they announced that. I just don't want her on my TV show. I really don't. And I'll give you more thoughts about Phaedra when I finally sit down and watch the second part of Kenya's interview with Carlos King. Check out my first part on the Chitty Chat. But I'll get to part 2 probably this weekend. But we open up, like I said, they're at the OBGYN. And Dr. Jackie is kind of surprised that Deuce is there. She's kind of like, and why is he here? Because this is not a daycare. And they were like, well, we wanted him to be a part of the process. And Dr. Jackie was kind of like, girl, why? And pretty much it's because Sonia's only a month and she's only 5 weeks pregnant, which is a month and a week. And we know in the first trimester, which is the first 3 months of pregnancy, that is oftentimes when women or people that could get pregnant have miscarriages. So I think Dr. Jackie was just like, girl, I don't understand why you got this little boy a part of this. But Sonia's thing is like, Deuce has been actively asking, like, I want a brother, I want a sister, like I want a sibling. And so we just wanted to let him know, which is sad. It's just sad because it reminds me again of like when Toya and Eugene had to let the boys know about when she had her miscarriage and how they were older than Deuce, so it was easier for them to understand a lot better. And they were still children, and they're still children now, but it was probably a lot easier for them to understand, like, okay, the baby or mommy had a miscarriage. When Deuce, I don't even think Deuce is 5. And we see in the next episode that unfortunately Sonia does have a miscarriage, and Deuce has like a meltdown because it's like, oh wow. And it's like the realization, like, because I think at that age people start to kind of understand death in a sense. Because, people try to teach them with like pets, like when a goldfish passes away or a pet passes away or stuff like that, it's like an easy way to transition somebody into like death and the concept of death. But I guess like, a miscarriage is kind of different. It's kind of different. But she's excited. Ross is excited. But also Sonia is having a geriatric pregnancy, which is like, that is a lot more common the older you get of having those types of complications because you're older. But yeah, they're excited and things of that nature. So then we have this scene of Kandi and Todd and Drew. So they're shooting the movie, and we find out that majority of the movie is being shot at Kandi and Todd's home. Candy's not really happy about that because she's like, I would rather just pay the money for us to shoot on a different location. But Todd is like, we're saving money by filming at the house. And then he brings up, Tyler Perry did it. But I was like, when Tyler Perry did that, didn't he already have like a fan base? Because I think he's talking about, because I feel like Diary of a Mad Black Woman was his first like his first big movie, and I think the house that they were at, that was like the house that old girl got kicked out of, and pulled out of, was his house. But my only thing is, like, that wasn't the only location. If this is the movie that Todd is referencing, because they shot at Medea's house, they shot at like the club, they shot different scenes in different locations. So I guess maybe like majority, because majority of that movie was not at that house. Like maybe out of an hour, like an hour and 30-minute movie, maybe 20 minutes was at that house. I'm just trying to think about it. But Candy is just kind of like, I would have just paid the money for us to shoot on a location, like instead of being at the house. But we see Drew. I don't know. I think Drew's acting is kind of weird. It is more based for me. I think she's more for like Lifetime TV specials and stuff. And that's not to knock her in the sense, because y'all know I don't see it for Drew. But I do enjoy seeing her happy about like explaining to us what she's doing and how it feels good, and like talking about like the five senses. Like, I enjoy seeing people get excited about their craft, and it seems like this is something that she is truly passionate about. So I can give her that. But the way Drew acts, like when they showed her scene, I was like, yeah, you are a Lifetime you're a TV special type of girl. Which there's nothing wrong with that, because there's a lot of people who keep a good, consistent check being a TV special girl. But I don't know if I could. Cause I don't even remember Drew being on Step It Up. When they bring up Drew being in Step It Up and White Chicks, I need, when people post those clips, it's like, oh, you were there, but it doesn't click to me that she was there. The only two things I remember Drew being in was the TLC movie, the biopic on VH1, and then I remember her being in that Lifetime sorority movie, which was actually kind of funny and like interesting to watch. I only watched like part of it and then turn the channel and watch something else, but her acting wasn't bad. It just felt like it was soap opera TV, like, if you get what I mean. So we see Mayetta, and she comes in, and we see Mayetta, Candy, and Drew go sit in like the waiting area or the break room, and take a break and like talk. So then Drew's talking about how like she don't know if she could like get her mind ready to like be with the woman or pretend to be with the woman, because we know the concept of the movie is a hall pass where the lady gets seduced, or the wife, which is Drew, gets seduced by an older lesbian, and they have like a moment. And Candy is still harping on like, girl, you did kiss a girl before, and they flash back to season 13. I feel like Candy let it go. The girl don't want to talk about it no more, so you don't need to talk about it no more. But what I will say is, in this moment, it felt fake. Drew trying to act like she's so like, I've never done this before with a woman. She probably never, I don't think she's ever been intimate with a woman, but the way she was acting about it, it gave that like, girl, you might have done something with a woman. And so we then see Mayetta pull out her phone to prove that she wasn't lying about Courtney calling Drew the B word. But when you look at the video, it doesn't even look like they were talking about Drew. It actually looks like, what's her name? Courtney was calling Sonia the B word, because she was like, in the way that Courtney was saying it was like, no, this B even questioned me. And she pointed to Sonia. So I don't think she called Drew the B word. So my thing about Mayetta, if you're gonna be a bone collector, you need to get the story straight. Because even Candy was like, I don't think she was calling Drew the B word, but she definitely used the B word, even though Courtney tried to act like the B word is not in her vocabulary. And I was like, yeah, Courtney, you backed yourself in a corner with that one. But I don't even think she was referring to Drew as a B word. She was like, but no, this B even questioned me. And she pointed to Sonya. So I think that's who she was talking to. I don't even think she was talking about Drew. But Drew now got it in her head that that Courtney was talking about her. And now she's like, she's no longer Courtney. She's no longer cousin Courtney. She's Courtney. Mind you, you should have never been calling that lady your cousin when y'all didn't have that relationship. You should have just been like, oh, this is my cousin-in-law, and we're getting to know each other. You were the one that gave her that title, Cousin Courtney, way too fast. So the next scene we have is of Sheree. We see the wedding planner, Mr. Lance, with his bouffant on top of his head. And I was like, Lance's face looks so familiar. And when I Googled it, I was like, that's where I remember Lance from. Lance was on a TV show called My Celebrity Wedding on VH1, and Lance can throw a party. Lance can throw a party because the whole concept of the show on VH1 was basically a couple had to pick between three different wedding planners that would give them the wedding of their dreams, and Lance was one of the wedding planners, and he could plan a party. Like, Lance can plan a party. I hope he get paid though, because Sheree, he asked Sheree about the budget, and Sheree was like, there is no budget. And I was like, Sheree, there definitely should be a budget when it comes to you, because are you gonna pay these people? Production better pay Lance. But she want a lot. Sheree wants a lot, and it was a lot. So then we have Marlo. So Marlo is hosting this event called Foster Fridays, where her and her business partner named Erica host these award shows for adults that came out of foster care and had and are successful, trying to break this, I guess, the indoctrination or the mental like bondage foster care has on certain people, and breaking the stigma of it. I know if I was in foster care, especially the guy that they showcased, they said that man had been in 31 different foster homes. That would mess with my mind so badly as a child, because it would be, one, nobody wants me. Two, I probably would have very high anxiety, because it's like when you think you probably have found the family you want, or you got used to that family, or you're trying to settle in, next thing you know, you're getting whisked away to a different foster home. And 31 households, that is 31 different outcomes for a person. So it's just crazy to me. It's just crazy to me. Like, there should be a limit on how many times you can move a child around. Like, my goodness. But they were just honoring people. Now, a couple of people online were saying that this event happened in like June of 2022. Like, it didn't happen in 2023, even though they were filming, I guess, during the Christmas months of 2023. Like, so I'm surprised. I don't know if that's true, because I couldn't find the tweet that everyone was talking about, and I didn't feel like scrolling through Marlo's like Instagram to find whether or not it was true. But if it is true, that is kind of weird that they're shopping in a scene that happened, like an event that happened like prior to the Christmas month. And it does kind of give validity to what a lot of people have been saying, and what King has said on that interview with Carlos King, that it's like they're editing Marlo to give her kind of like a better edit. Because someone pointed out, how are you the villain in the first half of the season, and then by the end of the season it's like supposed to be like kisses and rainbows, because they're not really showing how you really behave in a sense, so Marla was a little upset because Sheree wasn't there in the beginning, but then Sheree made it. The only people that were there was Sonia, Courtney, and Sheree. I guess Marlo didn't invite Candy, Kenya, or Drew. But if this happened earlier on, maybe they weren't in a good place with Marlo, so I don't think they would want to see Marlo like that. But we find out that like Sheree had left her house while everybody was getting ready for Mecca's sippancy. We find out that the colors is nudes, and everybody's supposed to wear nude, and then Sheree's family is supposed to wear pink. But it was pretty. Like, the balloons, they had really beautiful flowers. Sonia is the first person to get to the sippancy, and it's like 4:04 p.m. because that's when the party was supposed to start, basically. While everybody is showing, we see a scene of Drew still on the, I guess, shootings, like on the lot, on the field, at Candy's house, pretty much. And Ralph shows up. I didn't like the little fat joke Ralph gave to Drew's assistant, because I was like, do they have that relationship? And the way Ralph was acting, rubbing his hands together with his too tight shirt, thinking he was intimidating somebody, it didn't do nothing for me with his peanut-headed ass. And so he sits down, It was awkward. It was so awkward. You can tell that they're not on the same page. And if I'm going to be honest, I still kind of don't believe that they're getting divorced, but maybe they will. Also, my condolences to Drew. Unfortunately, her father passed away. I think previously this week. I think he passed away due to Alzheimer's or dementia. Either way, it's sad. Like, it is sad. So, condolences for her and for that. But she sits down with Ralph. They're talking. They start talking about, like, their relationship. I just can't do them, because there's a part of me that feels like this is fake, but there's also a part of me that doesn't feel like it's fake. Even in this conversation, you can tell that there's a disconnect between them, and the way that Ralph really doesn't respect Drew or her craft, because he was joking about wanting to watch, like, I think he was serious, but he was doing it in a joking manner about wanting to watch Drew kiss and make out with the lesbian or do the sex scenes with the like, I can't call that lady a lesbian. The other actor, I will say though, it was awkward. Them sex scenes they showed were so awkward, bro. So awkward. And my thing about it is like, you can make jokes, but you can also tell when your joke is annoying the person. And I feel like Ralph could tell that he was annoying Drew, because he just kept looking at her, and I think he was waiting for a reaction from her. But Drew was pretty much just like, I was ready for him to leave because he was throwing me off my game, and I just wanted him to go. And I guess he left. So, like I said, everyone is getting prepared to, like, go to Sheree's the sip and see. Everyone shows up. I think Kenya looked beautiful in that brown. That brown on her skin just looked great. She just looked so pretty. I don't know why her friend had on blue. I think her name's like Kayla, I don't know how to say that lady's name. Either way, I don't get why she had on blue. And, like, she was trying to defend herself on Twitter. And my thing was like, why did you wear blue? Clearly, I feel like this lady probably had nude. And if you didn't have nude, then you shouldn't have came, in my opinion. I don't know. I feel like when there's a dress code, dress accordingly. Dress accordingly. And her blue was not even cute. Like, it didn't go with the theme. Like, we in a sea of browns and tans, and here you come being blue, baby blue at that, which is not a cute color. So she shows up. Everybody's there. We saw Apollo, Quad was there, Shamia was there, Cynthia showed up. So everyone's just mingling. Courtney came. The only person that wasn't there was Marlo, and we found out that's because Marlo's friends, I think they said her grandmother passed away, so she was attending a funeral. Candy shades Courtney, because she's like, every time she sees Courtney has on like a hat, and Courtney's like, no girl, my edges are intact, I just like wearing hats. So they were shading each other. When Kenya got there looking so pretty in her brown, Kenya was like, oh, Sheree spent money because these flowers and these balloons probably cost a couple of $1,000s. And Sheree did spend some money, so hopefully she paid that man. We then see Sheree comes down in her outfit. It's a hot pink sequin dress. And honestly, it didn't go. Like, the family was supposed to wear pink, and I just thought that was ugly with the theme being nudes. I was like, y'all couldn't wear like an autumn orange or like a dark green, and like a dark green, or like if y'all were gonna wear pink, like a darker pink. Like, it just, like, when she was taking pictures, I was like, this isn't cute to me. Like, I don't know. It contrasted with the background too harshly. But she's taking pictures. We see Bob. We find out this is Bob's first child. I never knew Bob had 2 kids before he got with Sheree. So altogether, I guess Bob has 6 kids. So 2 kids with a previous relationship, and then the 3 he had with Sheree, and then the one girl that we met at the end, which was like a secret baby. But Bob is in his pink. And you know what? Bob's pink goes because it's not a darker pink, but it's a lighter pink. I think that's the issue. Sheree's pink is too dark. Even though I said maybe they should have wore a darker pink, but Sheree's pink is too dark. Like, Bob's goes. They're excited. We then see Martell show up. Martell got on like a light pink that I thought at first was like a tan color, but then everyone was like, no, it's pink. They're taking pictures. We find out that Bob and Martell have never really met, but they finally met each other now. We see Drew pull up, and Drew is sitting in the car, and she's like, I'm not going in, because she sees Mr. Libations, Anthony. And this whole situation with Anthony and Drew is funny to me, because it's like, this is what happens when you try to be messy and it bites you in the ass. Because Drew brought Anthony around to be messy and shady and to come at Sheree, and then Sheree flipped it and is using Anthony against Drew. And Drew says she saw Anthony walk in, which I don't believe she saw Anthony walk in, because it was too much going on. But I guess she didn't want to come in. She calls Candy. Candy's on the phone, and she's like, what's going on? And we see Anthony with his new blonde hair. And Mayetta and Candy go outside to talk to Anthony. And we find out that Anthony allegedly assaulted Drew with a shoe. But I don't really, Drew telling this story and when Anthony tells the story, I think they're both telling the truth in a sense. Because Drew said that she was at a club, she had taken off her shoes and she was like dancing on the sofa in VIP. Anthony saw the shoe and just threw it at her. And I don't think that's what happened. I think they got into it and she might have done something to him and he done something to her, and then shoes and purses got to flying. But Drew was like, I don't want to be somewhere where where a man assaulted me. So Anthony is like, no, so Drew is like, Sheree knows, and I thought we were in a better place, so why would she invite him? Blase, blase. So they go back inside, and they see Sheree, and Lisa Wu was there too. And then things get to going because Candy tells Sheree, and Anthony's standing there, that what's it called? Anthony is standing there, Candy tells Sheree, like, Drew not coming in. Drew is not coming in. She going home because Anthony is here. And Anthony is like, I'd never done anything. She was like, what she need to do. It was a rehearsed read because he couldn't even get it out because he started stuttering. See why you stutter, da 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 da. He started stuttering. So pretty much Anthony's recollection of what happened is like they were in the club, they got into an argument, she swung her purse at him, so he threw a shoe at her. I think both things are true. I think because when they asked Drew in the confessional, like, did Anthony throw a shoe at you? She said, like, and what kind of shoe it was? She was like, I think it was Louboutin. I said, girl, you don't make that much money. And even if you had them, I don't think you just taking them off like that, sis. So I think that Drew and Anthony got into it. Drew might have like swung on Anthony because we seen Drew be like, I'm from Chicago, and get in people's faces. We saw her do it with LaToya. We saw her do it with Sheree at Brooklyn's birthday party. So I believe they probably got into it. She swung her purse. He swung a shoe. And then she said there was like a police, but we know Drew be lying. So that's why you don't lie, because it's like, now I'm questioning your story, and it could very well be true that Anthony was the aggressor, but it's giving that like y'all had issues to begin with. And they just spilt over. But Anthony's read was rehearsed. He was looking for a moment and it fell flat. So then we see Martell and Kenya have a conversation. At first, he didn't want to have a conversation. And honestly, I don't blame him, because I wouldn't want to have a conversation with Kenya after the way they both behaved at Ross's party. Like, I'd have been like, yeah, I'm good on you. But they talk. Kenya pretty much, like, Martell apologizes to Kenya for the way he spoke to her and say he wouldn't, like, he won't slide in nobody's DMs anymore. He was wrong for raising his boys. Kenya pretty much said she was matching his energy. She lied and said she didn't cuss at him. Production rolled it back. You did cuss at him, Kenya. Y'all were pretty much matching each other's energy. And Martell matched yours, you matched his. That's why I felt like it was even. Because Martell got aggressive, you got aggressive back too. So they said that they was good. We then they didn't bring out Baby Mecca after it's been like 3 hours, because the party started at like 4. At like 4, maybe like 5 o'clock, pretty much, maybe like 4:30, 5 o'clock. And they finally bring out the baby at like 6 something. Because everyone's like, come on, Sheree. Come on, because it's hot in her house because there's so many people. Then they see the family taking pictures. So we see Cairo and Mecca's mom. You see Bob and another girl. Everyone's thinking that the girl in front of Bob is either Bob's new girlfriend, or like they're like, is that his daughter? You then see Sheree taking family pictures, and she tells Martell to get into the pictures. Sheree is such a clown to me. And the reason why I say that is like, you're too old to be having this, like, you're giving this man access to you in a way that he has not earned. Why is he in family photos of your sippancy? And they're not even together anymore. And it's like, why did you even tell him to wear the family colors, which was pink? Like, I was with Candy when Candy was like, why is he wearing pink? Why are you allowing him to take family photos? It just didn't make sense. Like, Sheree is a goofy. She's a goofy, because there's no way that, like, at your big age that you are making these types of mistakes. Like, he's not a part of your family. Like, they're not even together anymore. And it's like, but you have him in pictures of you and your family with your grandchild. Like, at a very important event in her life. Like, girl, that was stupid. She better have pictures without him so they can crop him out. But we then see everyone is like trying to figure out who this girl that's standing beside Bob. Is that like his girlfriend or his daughter? We then see this scene of the girl talking about like, thanks for allowing us to be there. I think her name is she's after so basically Bob had a secret baby. It seems like that's what happened. Bob had a secret baby. But the kids know the baby because Bob brought the little girl around her siblings, but Sheree didn't know about it. So everyone's trying to figure out, like, who is this girl and why is she here? And then they finally ask Bob, like, who is that girl? And Bob's like, that's my daughter. And so everybody's like, what? So Candy is like, I've known Bob for 19 years and I didn't even know Bob had 2 other kids. So like we find out Bob has 2 kids before Sheree, then the 3 kids with Sheree, and then this daughter. And I guess this daughter is in between Sheree's kids. So Bob had a baby outside of them. And Bob was like, yeah, the kids know about her. They got together. I'm not gonna lie, Bob is a dirty dog. He a dirty dog, but he had me laughing when they was like, you really brought your child your baby to a sip and see. And he was like, I thought it would be Afro-po. And I don't know why that tickled me, because I said, you ain't ish. But that was funny. That was funny to me. So all the girls was like, well, why didn't you tell Sheree? And he was like, that was on a need to know basis. And they was like, your wife don't need to know? Dirty, just a dog. So they all were giggling, and like they finally took pictures. They asked Sheree about, like, did she know about the baby? And she was like, no, but Candy was like, but the kids know about her. Like, they have a relationship with her. And I guess that's what's most important. But it's still messed up that he ain't tell her. It is really messed up. But they take a picture, and that was the end of the episode. And that was it. Sheree made some comment about, like, he ain't, still ain't shit or something like that. But I'm like, but you with a man that ain't that either. Because it was weird to me when Sheree was like, why were you late to Martell? And he was like, I got 5 kids. And I'm like, yeah, Sheree, Sheree is just goofy. She's just goofy. Like, I can't. And down to the fact that she's defending this man about his tacky move of asking everybody to cash app him for her birthday. I just can't. I can't. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.